Aw man, I want to go to Japan so I can ride Splash Mountain, but I can't afford to.
We have Splash Mountain at home.
Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, that works.
It's no secret that I love theme parks.
I mean, I hope I've made that clear by now.
I love the sights, the sounds, the smells most of the time, being fully enveloped in these wonderful feats of artistry. They're also low-key frustrating. Yeah, the rides are great, but you have to wait in line for them. They break down. They're Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. Luckily, I live in a society where I don't have to visit them every day. Willingly. So capturing the essence and distilling these attractions down to something I can experience in the comfort of my own home would be ideal. And falling short of traveling back in time, moving to Missouri, only to move back to California, becoming famous by revolutionizing the animation industry in a couple significant ways, get bored watching my kids have fun on a carousel without me, and build my own theme park.
I got YouTube.
Attraction POVs are the go-to alternative for the theme park enthusiast needing a quick fix, or solace during a world-changing event, and they're great for folks who want to see what the ride is like before finally mustering the courage to go on. It's me. Hi, I'm the theme park enthusiast and scaredy cat, it's me. But say it's between the late 80s and mid-2000s and video streaming either doesn't exist or sucks. What are your options then? Video games?
Yeah, these are gonna need their own video. At some point.
But back in this period of time, we had vacation planning videos. If your family was considering a trip to any of these places, they could have sent away for one of these videos. And they're basically overblown infomercials. There's nothing wrong with that. They make great resources for B-roll. They're really nothing more than showcases for new attractions that year. There's even one for my favorite theme park.
The place, Corriganville, California. The time, early morning, any day. You see, folks that come here say this place is timeless. And in a way, I guess you might say it is.
Oh, that was fun. Where's the bathroom?
Mr. Disney, tear down this. Wait, I'm what?
On the flip side, there are a myriad of souvenir videos. For the folks who didn't want their fun to end after they left, these allowed you to endlessly relive your favorite attractions through the magic of VHS. And 8mm. And Viewmaster slides. This practice has been going on for a while. Again, these were showcases for what you could expect to see on a typical day at the parks. For Universal, and the one I found for Knott's Berry Farm, it's a clip show with narration, with Universal skewing towards a behind-the-scenes approach. I wonder why. In A Day at Disneyland, it's literally the whole day at Disneyland.
We only have 5 minutes till the park opens.
The atmosphere, the shows, the food, the shopping, the rides. Everything but the bathrooms are covered in this video. Also, Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin, but that was because of rights issues. They likely would have traumatized, I don't know, Daisy after writing it. Also, they straight up traumatized the characters on these e-tickets. I don't know why they chose to present them as some of the most intense experiences on the planet, but I know Goofy wasn't the same after writing Big Thunder. How else do you explain his wife's absence in Max's life? She didn't die or go missing, she was murdered by Goofy! It makes sense too. After decades of being subjected to those how-to shorts and no healthy outlet to process any of it, he had no other option. This is definitive proof that Goofy not only yucks, he kills. Chip and Dale were perfectly fine after Haunted Mansion though, they're good. There are about 3 or 4 versions of the special too. The first from 1982 involves a tour of the park being guided by a yellow balloon that somehow ignores the inside of the Tiki Room, Space Mountain, and the Fantasyland dark rides. But that last one's understandable because of the construction of the 83 refresh at the time. Also, the narrator is oddly abrasive toward his child co-host.
With songs like A Tisk of the Tasket, Boo Hoo, Jada, and Singing in the Rain.
Gee, that doesn't sound like modern times.
That's just because you're too young to know any better.
It's like flying through the cosmos in a rocket.
Well said.
What's the cosmos?
Just read the script.
Then there was the 1991 version, which was later updated to include Fantasmic and Mickey's Toontown, again with no Roger Rabbit. They also put out a day ads for Magic Kingdom, Epcot Center, and Disney MGM. Sorry, the Disney Studios, but those aren't as vicariously immersive as the 90s versions for Disneyland. Also, my good friend Gabby, if prompted, can and will recite this verbatim from memory. She doesn't even need to be actively watching it. It's kind of scary.
And she's been doing it since I played the opening in 5 minutes clip. Watch.
Welcome to our tropical hideaway. You lucky people, you do. If we weren't in the show starting right away, we'd be in the audience too.
And that's how you get into a Watch Mojo video, kids.
Then once the pivot to DVD took hold within the home video industry, there was a push to fill those discs with as much content as possible. And if the movie had any kind of theme park representation whatsoever...
You mean like at Universal Studios?
The box set for the Jurassic Park trilogy, released in late 2001, included a 4th disc with several more behind-the-scenes goodies, including a full point-of-view video of Jurassic Park the Ride at Universal Hollywood.
Time, the ever-flowing river. Come with us now to a time before man, when the river flowed through a newborn world, and giants walked the earth. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Also in 2001, a short 3-minute POV walkthrough of The Mummy Returns Chamber of Doom was among the featured offerings on the DVD for The Mummy Returns. As an anxiety-ridden crybaby who waited outside by that Hulk statue more times than I care to reveal, I very much appreciated this edition. Also, this is strangely the only piece of video evidence that the park had a Grinch play area for that holiday season. I mean, look at those Seuss clouds, all swirly and shit. Most famously, the 2009 DVD release of Back to the Future included the Q-Loop, pre-show, and ride film for Back to the Future the Ride. Even if it wasn't the full IMAX picture, it scratched that nostalgic itch. Meanwhile, on Disney's side of things, a semi-complete 360-degree ride-through of Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean was included as a DVD ROM feature on the bonus disc of Curse of the Black Pearl. I can't get it to work because...
Flash is dying!
But, again, if I wanted to watch a 360-degree ride-through of Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean...
I got YouTube.
Then on the 2006 Platinum edition of The Little Mermaid, they included a virtual ride-through of what was at the time the never-built ride based on the movie. Obviously, we have a Little Mermaid ride now, but it was cool to see how Imagineering envisioned this ride, from the suspended seahorse-driven seashell vehicles to a fully fleshed out Ursula battle scene that was inexplicably followed by the Kiss the Girl scene. Okay, maybe that brief acknowledgement in the ride isn't so bad.
But these are all supplemental material, arguably buried under the movie or other bonus features. They're never released on their own. But somebody once told me...
Shrek 4D lasted at Universal Hollywood in Florida for way too long, but in the mid-2000s, it was released as a standalone DVD in 2 packs with the first or second movie under the title Shrek 3D. You had to pay admission to the park for the 4th D, as well as the pre-show because this is just the film presented in 2 and 3D. But that didn't matter. The scarcity of this DVD wasn't an issue once it became available to stream on Netflix, allowing you to watch it on every Wi-Fi enabled device imaginable. So, if you wanted to, you could watch the film for Shrek 4D while waiting in line for Shrek 4D. But Hollywood's closed in 2017, Florida's in 2022, and the collection with Shrek 4D was delisted from Netflix, so now you can't. I mean, it's still open in Singapore and you can buy it digitally on YouTube, but then how will I be able to afford the limited edition D23 Starspeeder 3000?
See, this is the part of the video where I put it on the table and make a callback to the beginning of the video where I said, I want to go to Japan, but I can't afford it. And that would be the reason. But I don't have it because I can't afford it. I mean, I'm still going to talk about it though.
D23 2024 was blah blah blah, nobody cares. But the exclusive merch that had everyone talking was a playset replica of the original Star Tours ride vehicle, complete with R2-D2 and Captain Rex figures, push-button activated doors that play the boarding chime, and, the reason we're talking about it here, video of the original ride film from 1987. Played in segments because I'm fairly certain whatever tiny processor in this thing would melt if it did play the whole thing uninterrupted, all for a generous $300! Meanwhile, on the secondhand resale market,
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Ooh, Bob Gurpop vinyl. I don't need that either. Met the guy in real life. Because of course I did.
As cool and expensive as this all is, it's still not the complete film. The run inside the comet is cut down and it's missing the score, because God forbid Disney want to pay John Williams even more money, and strangely, overshooting the indoor moon. Again, I get the memory and the processor on this thing are just little guys trying their best, but of all the things to cut, the inciting incident ends up in the trash? Even when they included
R2, light speed to Endor!
Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Personally, I'm waiting for someone to mod theirs so it can play the whole thing with the side screen video and put it on a mini hydraulic motion base. Oh cool, someone already did.
No, those are human children. Dang it, Zelensky.
But a toy I could afford, the Emperor Zurg light-up projection game. For the little Timmies in Ohio who want to practice maxing out their scores on either of the Buzz Lightyear rides during their next Disney Parks trip, this might help. It's a light gun toy similar to Nintendo's Duck Hunt toy from the 70s, taking most of its aesthetic inspiration from Space Ranger Spin at Magic Kingdom, from the design of Zurg's ship and the enemy targets, to the blaster being the one attached to the ride vehicle. Only it's not for this toy.
Wait.
You can't unholster the gun in Florida. 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 You can't unholster the gun.
Oh, we're cooked.
There are 3 difficulty settings. The first where the targets are stationary, the second where they pivot, and the third one where they appear and disappear at quicker rates. But with the ride being a lot more frantic and this not so much, using this as a way to hone your Astro Blaster skills, probably not the best call. As a way to emulate the ride at home, it's pretty rad. Okay, let's get obscure. In 1994, aliens, right at the speed of fright, entered the rotation at the Turbo Ride Simulation Theater at Pier 39 in San Francisco. The next year, it opened at the American Adventure theme park in Derbyshire, England. The film starred Jeffrey Combs of Reanimator fame and was directed by Stuart Gordon, who also directed Reanimator. It follows a group of Marines on a rescue mission to a mining colony overrun by xenomorph aliens, but they have to get in and out before a bomb goes off, destroying the planet. And you are along for the ride. It's the exact amount of cheese you'd expect from a 90s motion simulator attraction, and was thankfully preserved on the 2010 Alien Anthology Blu-ray set.
Now, one thing I didn't expect to get out of this video was a new perspective on the inherent impermanence of theme parks as an art form. Obviously, nothing lasts forever, but I'm glad the film-based rides we've discussed here have been released. Dark rides and walkthroughs are a little bit trickier, but filming them is the best way to keep their memory alive. Yes, even with crappy GoPro footage attached to the front of the log. But other attractions aren't so lucky. Most attractions aren't so lucky. And there have been more than a few times that they have closed suddenly and without warning, leaving a lot of us to rely on our memories and pass them down to those curious enough to seek them out. Or to put it another way, each of us has something good and beautiful to give the generations that follow, and the part of you that you give never dies, but lives forever. What better way to spend your time than talking, laughing, telling stories, sharing what is good and true, sharing life with those you love? To our children and to our grandchildren, life is still full of magic. When you share the magic with them, you remember too. And once again, you too can fly.
Mystery Lodge opened at Knott's Berry Farm in 1994 in collaboration with First Nations tribes of Southern California and the Pacific Northwest. It followed the storyteller as he pondered his mortality, recounting memories of his life, his relationship, his culture, and the importance of passing on experiences to the next generation through stories. Due to technical issues, the attraction closed in 2019. All that remains is the show building, the gift shop, and this book, which granted has been out of print for a few decades now, but I've held on to it since I got it when I was a kid, and it's the show. Word for word. Every line of dialogue from the pre-show and the main show is here, with accompanying concept art. This is hands down the perfect medium for this attraction to be translated into. A show about the power of storytelling being a storybook. Now, I may not be able to physically be in the room and watch it unfold through simple yet ingenious stagecraft, but when I read this, I am a kid again. Either sitting on the floor of that pre-show room, following along with the narration, or watching the show from those benches. Same goes for the rest of these. They're missing the motion, the show lighting, the effects, the smells. But even to have just a piece of them that I can return to anytime I want, that's worth more than any trip to anywhere. Japan would be pretty cool though. She's still going.
Close up of the carousel, and then we're kind of inside the carousel. Merlin crowns a kid, woohoo! And then there's Dumbo.
Just let her be.
Let
her be. She'll be done. I'll just read this. It's fine.
Thank you all so much for watching this Ow. Sorry, I bumped my foot on the desk. But yes, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm fairly certain there are a few other examples of attractions you can experience at home floating out there that aren't just straight up roller coasters people built in their backyards. So if you can think of any of those, please, by all means, let me know about them in the comments, and I may cover them in the future. It'll take a while for me to get there, but I will get there. And a huge thank you to my friend Gabby, whose channel I have linked in the description below. She hasn't made anything in a bit, but the videos she has made are incredible, and I do suggest you check them out. Again, her Rocket Rods one was good enough for Watch Mojo to use in their video, so please watch it. She's probably still reciting A Day at Disneyland anyway. And hey, if you like what you saw, go ahead, consider clicking the subscribe button. Clicking the bell, get notified of all uploads. Be one of the cool kids, but not the Patreon cool kids that you're seeing on screen. That's one of the free ways to do it. But if you want to join the Patreon crew, it's as little as $1 a month. You can see your name scroll by on screen and read aloud by me if you're a newcomer. Or get access to early releases, such as this video. All of my Patreon supporters got this at least a week before this dropped. Going a little bit further, however, to $10 or more a month gains you access to the Cool Cats Club. Is set it Minecraft sound effect. Joining the Cool Cats Club gets you all the previous perks plus an exclusive live stream at the end of every month. And those wonderfully generous people are Ashley Hines, Bennett Ballard, Danielle Garcia, David Gansel, Ian Cameron, Kooky Trails, Lisa Sturgis, Nicholas DePorto, Pander Plays, Tendo the Seal, Tony Goldmark, and Trevor Gumble. As usual, any amount will do. You can cancel anytime. Egg prices. Just save your money for those. Jeez. And if not, you can also join as a free member, or like I said, just subscribing, sticking around with the videos. It's fine. It's fine. You got options. But in the meantime, I will be hard at work on the next video, probably coming out next month. You know, and I would say what it's about, but I'm kind of ride or die on it. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Once again, a huge thank you to my friend Gabby, whose channel you can find in the description below. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights, stop AAPI hate, free Palestine, stay safe, stay healthy, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and bonus nachos, kids.
But you know, another way that you could bring magic home and experience theme parks under a roof? I don't know, I'm not sponsored.